Excuse me, may I ask you some questions?
Sure, go ahead.
What's your name, please?
My name is Vân.
Are you a student?
Yes, I am. I'm a first year student and I'm studying at Hà Nội University, mining and geology.
Where do you come from?
I come from Thanh Hóa province.
So you come from Thanh Hóa province, don't you?
Yes, that's right.
Now, what time do you usually get up?
I usually get up at 7 o'clock.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after getting up?
I usually have breakfast after getting up.
What time do you usually have breakfast?
I usually have breakfast at 7:30.
So you usually have breakfast at 7:30.
Exactly.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after having breakfast?
I usually go to school. I usually go to school after having breakfast.
What time do you usually go to school?
I usually go to school at 8:30.
So you usually go to school at 8:30.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after going to school?
I usually come back home after going to school.
What time do you usually come back home?
I usually come back home at 4 o'clock.
So you usually come back home at 4 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after coming back home?
I usually cook dinner after coming back home.
How long does it take you to cook dinner?
It takes me about 40 minutes to cook dinner.
So it takes you about 40 minutes to cook dinner.
Exactly.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after cooking dinner?
I usually listen to music after cooking dinner.
What time do you usually listen to music?
I usually listen to music at 8:30.
So you usually listen to music at 8:30.
Exactly.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after listening to music?
I usually study after listening to music.
How long does it take you to study?
It takes me about 2 hours to study.
So it takes you about 2 hours to study.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after studying?
I usually search the internet after studying.
What time do you usually search the internet?
I usually search the internet at 10 o'clock.
So you usually search the internet at 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after surfing the internet?
I usually go to bed after surfing the internet.
What time do you usually go to bed?
I usually go to bed at 12 o'clock.
So you usually go to bed at 12 o'clock.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How about you? What's your name, please?
My name is Vân Hà.
Are you a student?
Yes, I am. I'm a student, and I study as Academy of Finance.
Where do you come from?
I come from Nam Định.
So you come from Nam Định, don't you?
Yes, that's right.
May I ask you some questions?
Sure, go ahead.
What time do you usually get up?
I usually get up at 6 o'clock.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after getting up?
I usually have breakfast after getting up.
What time do you usually have breakfast?
I usually have breakfast at 7 o'clock.
So you usually have breakfast at 7 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after having breakfast?
I usually read books after having breakfast.
What time do you usually read books?
I usually read books at 10 o'clock.
So you usually read book at 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after reading books?
I usually cook lunch after reading books.
How long does it take you to cook lunch?
It takes me about 40 minutes to cook lunch.
So it takes you about 40 minutes to cook lunch.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after cooking lunch?
I usually have lunch after cooking lunch.
What time do you usually have lunch?
I usually have lunch at 12 o'clock.
So you usually have lunch at 12 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after having lunch?
I usually go to school after having lunch.
What time do you usually go to school?
I usually go to school at 12:30.
So you usually go to school at 12:30.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after? What do you usually do after going to school?
I usually study after going to school.
How long does it take you to study?
It takes me about 2 hours to study.
So it takes you about 2 hours to study.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after studying?
I usually come back home after studying.
What time do you usually come back home?
I usually come back home at 5 o'clock.
So you usually come back home at 5. So you usually come back home at 5 o'clock.
Exactly.
What time? What do you usually do after coming back home?
I usually have dinner after coming back home.
What time do you usually have dinner?
I usually have dinner at 7 o'clock.
So you usually have dinner at 7 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after having dinner?
I usually study after have dinner.
Pardon?
I usually after having dinner.
What time do you usually study?
I usually study at 10 o'clock.
So you usually study at 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you usually do after studying?
I usually go to bed after studying.
What time do you usually go to bed?
I usually go to bed at 12 o'clock.
So you usually go to bed at 12 o'clock.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, see you later.
See you later.
再见。